Hey there, welcome to lesson 2 of Creative Junkie Bootcamp. So glad that you could make it. Lesson 3 will be up tomorrow, just as an FYI, and every day thereafter there will be until the final lesson. But it's important to jump into this and actually give it the time it needs, because if you don't outline your journal and you jump right into design and creating it, you are almost guaranteed to come up with a crappy book. And we don't want that. We want a book that people love, that's really useful, and that you can really build your brand around and start getting people to maybe sign up for your mailing list, get people to purchase from you, get people in your atmosphere with a low cost product where they can get to know you, start to trust you, and perhaps do more business with you. And so I'm going to get into this. What is your objective? How do you want your product to serve your customer or your client? And so I mentioned this at the very beginning. Trying to fit too much stuff into your journal or your planner or workbook is a huge mistake. And it's a mistake that I have seen so many writers and authors make, because you want to be the all-in-one solution for your customers and your clients. And really, it's not realistic. So, for example, if you are a realtor and first-time home buyers, and so that's a space where people need a lot of help when you've never purchased a home before. Even when you buy your second or third home, sometimes you need help because it's been years since you've done the process. But you don't necessarily want to try to give too much information where it's just TMI and it runs the person into the ground and they can't figure out what's useful for them and what's not. So it's important for you to provide them with the information, but not necessarily dig into every little tiny subtopic. If you are a nutritionist, right, and maybe your focus is on new moms and how new moms can get fit. And so you're providing maybe a food planner for them to get fit, and maybe you want them to document their exercise in it. Okay, that's fine. But you don't need this whole, you should have an introduction, maybe a message to your reader, but you don't need a whole guide at the front of your book talking about, nutrition and talking about different types of nutrition for, moms. And if you have this many kids, if you have that many kids, please let it cut to the chase. Let it be straight to the point, because the whole purpose of a planner or a journal is to be interactive. It's to allow them to participate. You should not be doing all of the talking. So don't try to fit in too much content. It doesn't have to be the holy grail or the end all be all. I've seen a prayer journal that it took up so much space and it didn't allow the person to actually free write some things and express their own thoughts, do their own prayers. And so, yes, you want to guide the person if it's a guided journal, but leave some space for the person to be independent. Okay. Number 2, get laser focused on how you want your book to help your person. And that'll help you really drill down on what content you need and what is just useless, information. And then after that, after you figure out how you want to help the person, then you can determine whether or not what you're working on is a planner, a journal, or a workbook. Low content books, again, are action oriented. If all you do is make it about yourself, then it's not about them and there's no point. And they could have gotten some long 200 plus page book. So allow them to interact. And this is going to really establish a relationship with you, because they're going to remember that yours was a book that helped them get started taking action. And so I like to include this quote by Stephen King called "Kill Your Darlings," right? And meaning in writing, what that means is that sometimes your favorite characters have to die off. Sometimes there are these beautiful paragraphs in your book that just don't go with the book, and they're beautiful and artistic, and they just don't fit. They just don't make the story move forward. They don't do anything for it. And so keep that in mind as you're creating your project. Okay, so let's see. If you're doing a planner, then let's talk about that. What's the difference between all of these things, right? Planners, journals, workbooks, they're all action oriented, but a planner is specifically for people who are trying to achieve something in their daily life or in their careers or with their health, etc. And so when you think about your planner, you want to decide whether or not your planner is a career planner, a project planner, maybe an entrepreneurial planner. Is it a daily life planner, maybe a daily life planner for a mom or a working mom? Is it a fitness and health planner? So decide who specifically your planner is for. And I'm telling you, niching is a wonderful thing. Some people get scared to niche because they think that it eliminates too many people from their audience. What happens when you niche is that you talk directly to your audience and you get a higher conversion. And when you go to certain events, the people know that what you're selling is for them and they're more apt to purchase it instead of it was just general market. Now you want to decide if your planner is going to be 90 days, 6 months, or a year. If you are if you're very budget conscious, I would say do a 90-day planner. The other awesome thing about a 90-day planner is if they like it, then they're going to buy it again. So that's, 3 to 4 sales you're going to get a year from one person. So that could be amazing for you. If it's a 6-month planner, just be cognizant of, how long is this planner going to be and how you're going to format it. And so my suggestion at the end of this is definitely go pick up some planners so that you can see how they formatted it, so that they're able to fit it all in. Don't do a 365 page book for your first planner. That's just my suggestion. You can if you want to. You are at liberty to do anything that you like. But I would go against that. The thicker this book is, the more it's going to cost you. And even if you're not very cost conscious, you want to make sure that what you're doing is useful, and that depending on what kind of planner it is, they may be the type to want to carry it around. Like if it's a planner for somebody on the go with an on the go sort of career, like a consultant or maybe even a nurse or a doctor, like do they really want a thick, heavy, 8x11 planner? Or maybe they just need like a 5x8 or a 6x9, 120 page book. So if you can keep it 120 pages, that would be awesome. Most books, most pre-designed books are 120 pages, around that, 90 to 120. You can obviously make it more than that. That's why I'm going to show you the custom options. But just keep in mind who's going to be using this book and the way they're going to be using it. Are they carrying it around a lot? Then make sure that it's lightweight. If it's for the stay-at-home mom, then maybe you can do an 8.5x11 size planner because they're going to be using it at home most of the time. They probably have kids and they want to plan things for them as well. So maybe a family planner. In that case, you can make it a little bigger. Now, in the beginning of your planner, you're going to, usually what you want to do is have a note or a message from the creator. That's you. And so in that message, you want to tell them why you did this journal or planner. You want to tell them what your purpose was behind it, how you want to help them, and then let them know how to use the book. Also, you are going to run your copyright page, of course, and then you're also going to want to include your branding. Do you have a logo? Do you have a website? How can they connect with you? How can they get more planners? Do you have a freebie available on your website where they can sign up for your newsletter? So make sure that you are leaving a way in for them to connect with you. And then you want to give them space to plan their goals, space for taking notes, and then decide whether or not it's going to be a calendar layout or a day-to-day monthly check-in. And so I'm going to show you a couple of options in terms of planners and then going to recommend some homework for you. So this right here is the Panda Planner. This is a planner that I got last year. I really liked it. It was a bit overwhelming for me. I'm not going to lie, because there is a lot every day, what you're grateful for, what you're excited about, your affirmations, your focus, exercise. Then there's your schedule, which I like that. And today's priorities. So your top priorities, which I like. You can create a schedule and get nothing done if you don't have, or nothing important done if you don't have priorities. Tasks. And so this is a day by day, and I think it's a 90-day planner. How I'll improve, notes, your wins. So there's quite a bit going on in this planner, and there's nothing wrong with that. They've got it organized well. for me, and as you can see, like they've got great reviews on this planner. So as you can see, a lot of people like it. For me, it's got a little tedious, with all of those questions every single day. Plus you answer the same thing, from week to week, what your weekly goals were. And then you had a monthly check-in. But for some people, that's awesome. They want all of those details. So I absolutely get it. Let's see. But this is a really popular planner, as you can see. And then they've set up some mock-ups that look really good to, help the planner sell a bit. But this is a great planner, and it's good in terms of how you can see how it's been customized. And so my preference actually is a different planner. But look at this. Let me take a look at this. Full Focus Planner by Michael Hyatt. He's an author and kind of like a productivity expert. So I want to take a look at his planner because I follow him. And I can see, let's see what's different about his planner. Daily Big Three. Okay, so those are your priorities there. Ooh, did you do your morning ritual? So it doesn't ask you to write your morning ritual every day. There's probably a space in here at the very beginning of the book for you to determine what your morning rituals are going to be. And let's see, is this a 30-day? Go Hyatt. And it doesn't say here, but I'm willing to bet this is a 90-day planner. I bet you it's not for the whole year, which I think is smart, right? Yeah. And so other tasks, and then your daily to-do list, workday shutdown ritual. Okay, this is cool. An evening ritual. So you set that all up in the beginning. You don't have to go into writing all of those details every single day. And here's a space to take notes. I like the simplicity of this, but that's just me. That's me. That's not necessarily for everyone. Goal detail. And so this is the beginning, towards the beginning of the book, where you're asked to write down your goals. And then you can come back here month after month and input your goals. So I like this planner a lot. I like the simplicity of it and the cleanliness of it. I think that's incredibly useful. And people like this planner too. So that just depends on your style and then how many pages you want it to be. The Panda planner, as you can see, that was an 8.5 by 11 planner. So there's a bit more space in there. And it's for the person who is really detail oriented. And so you have to decide, who is your person? Who is this book for? That's going to help you determine how you're going to outline your book. Journals. Now, when you think about doing journals, again, what is the objective for the reader? Is it to get them to believe in themselves more? Is it get them to change or help them change careers and document the process and who they need to talk to? Is it for them to document their travels? Is it a travel journal? Do you want them to meditate and transform their lives in some way, shape, or form? Who is this person? What are their values? What are their wishes? And how can you help them get there with your guided journal? And is it a guided journal from day to day? Are you providing journaling prompts? And then should you leave them space to create? Do you want them to have, some free space to write? Or are they a person who, maybe they need it direct and down and dirty? Let me answer these 4 questions, stay on top of my stuff. I'm a busy person. Maybe I am in the technology space and I'm not about all the frills. And there's nothing wrong with that. And maybe they are more of a person who is into the spiritual stuff. And I like to answer these questions and get in a particular type of zone every day. So it's really important to ask, who is your person? And so this, I told you, was a little journal that I have. And let's see, or really it's a goal planner, but habits versus goals. And so as you can see, they've got some key information at the very beginning of the book. Benefits of habits, blah, blah, blah. And then, surprise me. Let's see what's inside. This is how it looks in the book. And then, let's see. And so from month to month, they ask you these questions. And then when you get into the day to day of the book, they go week by week by week. And so it's not daily, it's weekly. And let me take a look because I have it sitting right here next to me. It's not very long at all. This book is probably, I want to say, under 70 pages. It's thin and it's a week by week. So I'm imagining maybe it's 52 weeks. And then at the end, there's some space for my thoughts. So like I said, it's good to leave some space for your reader to do their own thing. Keep that in mind. Let them do their own thing sometimes in the book. Again, we want to make sure that we have a note or a message to the creator, just like she did at the beginning of hers, where she talked about what habits are and why they're important. And then how to use the book, if you need to explain that. Branding, you always want to include your website. You always want to include a way for them to connect with you. Intro pages for a special audience. That's, in this particular case, it was somebody who was working on building better habits. So it depends on who your audience is. If your audience is someone who wants to get into traveling, what information do you think could be helpful to them to put in the beginning of the book in terms of the experiences that you've had traveling? Why are you doing the book? What do you want to do to help them? How do you want to serve them? That's what's going to go in the beginning of the book. You may include a table of contents depending on what your journal entails. And then the guided activities, right? Are you going to guide them just like this one with the goal tracking in terms of activities, or are you just giving them writing prompts from day to day? And then making sure there's space for free journaling. You don't always have to include space for free journaling. It depends on your person once again. So more analytical, to the point person, don't bother, right? The 5-minute journal does not include free space to write. But if it's a person who is more into their heads, an overthinker, or somebody who is spiritual, or somebody who is very emotionally driven, then you definitely want to include free space to write. And so in both these cases, with the planner and the journal, you're going to want to do some research. With journals and planners, I suggest you go to your local Target. They have wonderful, wonderful planners and journals, or TJ Maxx or Marshalls. They have really affordable planners and journals and fun ones from independent sellers that, you'll find unique stuff in there, and it'll give you some inspiration for what your journal or your planner can be like. And then you can just do what I just did, flip through Amazon and go through some options to see what will work for your particular audience. Be a little bit flexible. Be open to, not including something. Don't get stuck on anything. Be open to editing and having some flexibility in terms of your design. Okay. And then if you're doing a workbook, it's so important that you know your audience. I would say in terms of a workbook, more than anything else, that you should understand this industry. Most industries you can research, you can, write down and get some information, do a journal, do a planner. With a workbook, you really want to know that industry. So that you can take them through the steps. I don't want somebody who is not a realtor or does not have real estate experience telling me how to buy my first home. I just really don't. Likewise, I don't want somebody who's never invested telling me or guiding me through the steps of investing. You can give me a planner for investing. You can give me a journal for, me talking about my goals and the money I want to make. You should not be giving me a workbook on investing and you've never invested. That's just my thought. Okay. Even in workbooks and guides, it's cool to leave some space for notes or for questions that they may want to research later on that, were not necessarily included. You definitely want to have a copyright page. You want to have a disclaimer. For example, if you're putting some important information in there, you want to point out, hey, there may be legal advice, but I'm not your lawyer. So don't take this as professional legal advice. You need to speak with your own lawyer. And I'm going to leave you some resources for including disclaimers in your book so you don't have to go searching for that. Always note or a message from the author or creator. And how do they connect with you? And give them a reason to connect with you too, guys. Give them some sort of options to connect with you and a reason to do it. Why should they sign up for your newsletter, right? say, when you sign up for my newsletter, I'm going to give you a coupon off of my full page book, well, my full book for free, or I'm going to give you a free consulting call, which can turn into more money for you, right? I'm going to give you a free consulting call for 30 minutes. Like, give them a reason, or maybe there's an additional resource that wasn't included in the book that you want to give to them. They need to sign up for your newsletter for. Give them a reason to connect with you. Now, there's a difference between a workbook and a guide. Workbooks are usually, they explain a concept and then they give you space to engage with it. They give you space so that you can work out the details and go through your own experiences. And a guide is more like a short book. It's more descriptive. It has, it's really, really organized into sections. And I think a guide should include some storytelling so that you can draw the reader in. So if you are doing a guide on investing, start with a story about your first investing experience and how you totally screwed up. And then where are you now? Get the reader comfortable with you, help them trust you. This is more of it's kind of like a tour guide and you're showing me the way. Have some personality if you're going to be doing a guide. And the cool thing about workbooks or guides is that they can be utilized as ebooks. They can be freebies that you give away in order to grow your list and sell more high price ticket items. They can be purchased as digital downloads instead. You don't necessarily have to do a physical book with these. You can do a digital download. So let's take a look at some guides and I want to walk you through those real quick. So I was taking a look at some guides and I found this social media marketing blog planner. So this is a workbook, you guys. And people had mixed reactions to it. And so you do want to take a look and see what some of the complaints are in regards to some of the guides that people have done, or workbooks, I should say, that people have done. This looks pretty cool to me. Blog planner. Let's see, target audience, niche overview. These are important things. This is good. Advertiser accounts, affiliate accounts. Cool. Your social media. Brand creation. Look at this. 6 words to describe my blog. Niche summary, mission statement, colors. This is good stuff. Affiliate accounts. Okay, I'm not sure everybody's going to put all of that information in, but it's good to have. Marketing planner. So this is pretty cool. I actually like this. Obviously, we can't look at the whole thing. Let's see what people said about it. Okay, it's a must-have for bloggers who struggle to organize their content. So this person really liked it, and this person didn't. There are only 2 reviews, so there was some good information, but this comes up short for me. There aren't enough entries for each month, only space for 5 content entries per month. Yeah, so I mean, that's a good note. Let your reader have some space to get their thoughts out, and to really allow the book to make a difference for them. There was another workbook that I wanted to show you. Now, I read Girl Boss. I thought it was a really, really good book. I have not used the workbook. But I see that there's an interactive journal for winning at life. So let's take a look. There were mixed reviews in regards to this. And like I said, I love the book, Girl Boss. But let's take a look at the inside of the book. Okay. So this person liked the book a lot. Okay. And they felt like it was empowering. And this person says the book's for your teen, not a serious workbook on becoming a girl boss, not for adults. So they don't like these pictures in there. They think it's childish. Likable and fun, but does not live up to brand promise. It's hard to imagine who the target audience is with an entrepreneurial checklist, including make business cards and work advice like don't be a gossip queen. Okay. So yeah, people have mixed feelings about this particular book, but it's interesting and it's good to go over why some people have a problem with certain types of books so that you don't make the same mistakes. So negative critiques are great constructive criticism for you to help guide you in the right direction in regards to your book. So look up some workbooks in your niche and find out what people say about them and how you can improve the ones that are already out there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. If something's out there that's really good, that's fine. See how you can just improve it or make it a little bit better and put your own signature on it. Don't copy. Put your own signature style on it. Word it in your way. But yeah, don't try to be overly original, because you want it to be useful to somebody. You don't want to make the book about your ego. Other books you can do: travel guides, city guides, dating guides, digital cookbooks. Now, if you do want to do a cookbook, if you're a nutrition or something like that, and you want to do a cookbook, or just, a good chef, then consider the fact that it should be an ebook, because color printing costs more. Now, if you want to do a physical book, if you have the budget for it, by all means do it. I think that would be fantastic. You can imagine yourself going to these seminars, going to those home seminars and the conferences and the big events for home design and things like that, and you have a physical cookbook there. That would be a beautiful thing for you to have. So it's a consideration, and you can do that. And that's also what I consider a low content book. Just put, your story at the beginning, add some tips in it, and put your recipes in. It doesn't have to be a humongous book. Flirting manuals, passing the bar. If somebody is in law school and you've passed law school, oh my goodness, how much of a help could you be? Year one of nursing. Nursing is a difficult career, or being a doctor is a difficult career. So what is it like being a first year nurse or first year ophthalmologist, first year ENT? Help people with that. Nutrition guides for diabetes, fitness for new moms, and so on and so on and so on. There's so many ways to get specific, and you still have millions of people in your audience. And so these are some examples of books that I've helped people with. Both of these are actually still in the works, not yet released, but we're excited about these. But these are just some examples. So your book is going to look beautiful. It's going to look professional and clean. So I'm excited to see what you do. And I'm going to show you how to create a bomb cover. So that's coming up in the next lesson. Questions and resources. What is absolutely necessary for your customer or your client to know? What kind of resources can you add to your website so that they can come and join your newsletter, get on your list so you can sell more things to them, so that you can serve them in different ways? And so here's some more questions for you to consider. I've included 2 links for disclaimers. The first one is unboring disclaimers. I love her disclaimers. They're so much fun. And then more if you want to go along the serious lines, like if you're doing a legal manual, then you definitely want to be straight to the point with your disclaimer. So this is going to be available for you to download the slides, and then go ahead and do your research. Go out today, go to Target, go to TJ Maxx. They're really low cost items there for you to take a look at. Look at some journals, have some fun, and start imagining what it'd be like to have your own. Take care.